to sell themselves, sell their manifestos for the people of the state to be able to decide who they will vote. For the PDP, they've been going around. For the APC, I have not heard the government candidate going around because it has not been decided who actually is there, apart from when the appeal court came up with a judgment. And the federal high court nullified the primaries and asked that they will have a rerun where more shouldn't be added in the rerun. He went on appeal, and appeal has now upturned the federal high court judgment. China is ready to go on Supreme Court appeal. What this will lead to weakening the political parties and not widening the space, because I would have loved to see many parties be on the ballot papers. Many candidates go on the field, so that will help us to decide the best person that will govern the state for us after we go for the poll and vote. So for me, it's a lesson for all the parties to learn.
House Leader, it's a bit funny for Akwabomites right now, because we're at the point where Akwabomites were looking for very strong oppositions and very strong contenders within other political party. Listening to Architect Sunjaito, who is also a front runner of the top 5 presently in the Akwa Ibom state, speak this morning as to his feelings and the polls that he has for the present state of the democracy. He says it's pretty much appalling that we don't have a lot of strong opposition, and that the only strongest opposition, in his word, that he said about 2 years ago, the strongest opposition the PDP would have would be him and his party. Now, and we are seeing that almost playing out, because with the litigation cases are currently ongoing for the YPP governorship candidate, the APC governorship candidate, we seem to have not heard a lot from other, political parties.
Well, we have the NNPP, Mr. Speaker, which has Senator John James Akpanodore as a candidate, and it's been a serial contestant as far as running for the Hilltop Mansion is concerned. So as far as experiences go, it wouldn't be out of place to put him up there at the highest cadre of those you would consider as outright favorite to get a shot at the Hilltop Mansion if the parties and candidates who are having court cases to deal with eventually shoot themselves in the foot because of this lingering litigations. It's a real worry for me. Focusing on the APC in Akwa Ibom State, I think they've been largely responsible for the state of non-progression that the party has suffered in the state since 2015. At the national level, it's been a different ballgame. It's the APC who are calling the shots, the ruling party since 2015. And you would have thought that with the quality of political elite within their arsenal, that the APC in Akwa Ibom State would have been the party to beat at the last 2 elections. But that has not been the case. They've been trumped at 2015 and 2019 polls. And as far as preparations go for elections, what they're doing ahead of 2023 election is not even compared to what they put out in the last 2 polls, and it's difficult to see where they're heading with these. Parliamentary Network did highlight about the time that they have to go around campaigning. They've not been campaigning, although they will tell you, yes, in spite of the court cases, we've been going around preaching the message of prosperity and so on and so forth. But we all know deep within, the internal intricacies are still there, in spite of the fact that the likes of Minister Obon Manokunamana has attempted to see how to bring peace back to the party by urging the stakeholders, the warring factions that is, to sheath their swords and see if they can pose a united front going forward, especially with the anticipated arrival of President Buhari along with the APC presidential campaign train by the end of this month. It's difficult to see that happening because he just defected from the People's Democratic Party to the APC. And the concerns raised, I still remember taking my mind back to Justice Agatha Okeke's ruling, the Federal High Court ruling that initially dismissed his candidacy. It was premised on the fact that it wasn't in the APC for a number of time that should be enough to allow someone to stand or contest for a party primaries. I was speaking to a member of the APC yesterday, and he claimed Obon Kanimo Odofia had actually defected officially from the APC as of the 5th of May, while the gubernatorial primaries of the People's Democratic Party came on the 24th or the 25th of May. And for those of us who were at the PDP gubernatorial primaries, it was clear we saw the name of Obon Kanimo Odofia on the ballot. I don't know about others, but I saw it myself. But it wasn't within the premises of where the primaries actually took place. And then a few days later, we heard that he had defected. Of course, he wasn't the only one who did not show up for that primaries. Abambasi Albert, Barrister Norfolk Luke, and the likes, they did not show up. But the fact that his name was on the ballot for the primaries raised questions as to whether or not he was still a member of the party. But a few days later, we heard he had defected. So at what point did we know that his defection was formal, to a point that a letter was published to that effect? Because that's the claim that they made in court when they took the case to the appeal court. And it was funny that the appeal court actually upheld, his claims and said he's the valid candidate of the APC because he had actually defected from the PDP to the APC before eventually standing for that primaries. These are things the likes of Senator Itainan would definitely want to play on should he decide to go to the Supreme Court. And there's every chance that he may have his way or not, but it would only go further to hamper their chances of going round to try and win over voters and support as we head to the election. Yes, we know other parties equally have cases, but even while Abambasi Albert was in incarceration, his wife and the rest of his campaign team have been going around with their, what-to-what campaigning, still speaking to the people, and it's easy to see that people are welcoming their messages. The PDP candidate, Pastor Mono, in spite of the court cases he had to face as well, has equally been going around campaigning. But when you just say, okay, because the court case has actually favored someone that most persons think is more likable within the APC, for me, is not enough to guarantee that you're going to have enough votes come election day. The clock is really ticking for the APC, but unfortunately, its time is really not on their side.
Just to throw more light to what the House leader just said, you've forgotten that there is what is called party waiver. The party is entitled to give a waiver to whoever they so wish to give. Of course, you must have been in the party for some months or some time to be qualified to aspire for any position. Now, the party is also entitled, because this is party politics, to decide who